Hi everyone, welcome to day 108 and welcome to today's live magic marketing. So I know it's been a little bit since I've been on live. Oh my goodness, we have a new puppy. She's a lab mix and we got her from a rescue. We went to an event last week and my kids fell in love with her and our dog passed away last year. So we felt like it was time, we were ready to add another dog to the family. So my kids for a while, they've been wanting a dog. So it's been great, but at the same time, it's been crazy. She's 4 months, she's 4.5, almost 5 months, and her energy is intense. And she's going through that phase where she's trying to test us and assert her dominance and getting all her stuff, right? Getting all her stuff and getting her on a routine and getting used to having a puppy. She's also teething. So she's been destroying shoes, chewing on them. I mean, it's been intense. And then she's also not potty trained. So she's been going all over the house, jumping on the sofa, nipping. I mean, anything that you could possibly imagine, she's been doing. She's very similar to Marley and me, the dog in Marley and me, minus the mangoes. But she's a blessing, she's adorable. We love her, but it's just a big adjustment for both of us. So it's only been a week. So, but I've been really, really not stressed, but tired because it's another energy, right? It's another person in the house. So, that's what's been going on with me. I've also been just indulging in the season, preparing for Samhain and everything else. Hi, Care. Hi. So decorating and all the things. Let me know if you guys are decorating. How are you feeling? The start of October. It's also my birthday month. Kara, I know you're a Libra too. So happy birthday. It's amazing, right? We feel like energized, right? In our birth month. So today I want to talk about magic marketing, okay? Because we have 3 powerful, jam-packed months that we can really maximize and catapult in our business. And a lot of times people online, brick and mortar stores, a lot of business people, for some reason, I don't know why, they feel like the last quarter of the year is a slow period. But it's actually one of the biggest and busiest, if you know how to leverage it, if you know how to channel it, really look at it from a very different perspective. And I feel like a lot of times people don't want to sell. They don't want to do business because of the holidays. They want to indulge in pleasure. And they feel like if they show up in their business, that pleasure is going to be compromised. But that's just not the case. Not if your business is pleasurable. So let's dig into it. So for the next 3 months, I want you to think of it as this amazing, amazing portal that's being opened right now. Our ancestors, the veil is thin. I did a post today talking about it. I had this major transition when it comes to it. And I've been getting a lot of transitions, a lot of channels, a lot of things. So you want to see it as a very ripe opportunity to get a lot of help. Your spiritual team is ready and willing to help you. But even people or even maybe new members of your spiritual team usually tend to show up around Samhain, around the fall, the autumn, because it's the time that our ancestors, the veil is so thin. Now, by the same token, you want to be careful because you don't want to engage with entities or spirits that aren't going to be of your highest good. So you want to be intentional about it and say, yes, I'm an open channel. Yes, I'm ready to receive help from the higher realms, from beyond the veil, to help me in my business, to really help me show up powerfully. Anybody that has a business background, anybody that has unique knowledge and wants to help me, I am ready and willing to do it. And then making sure that any of your guides and your ancestors are showing up and also helping you to filter and to remain protective as you do that. But in my experience, during this time is when I've met most of my animal guides, most of my ancestors, when I've connected with them, because this is a very heavily imbued time. It's been this way for millennia, since the dawn of humans. Think about it. It's been consecrated as the ancestral honoring time in many, many, many cultures. And So because of that, because it's so energetically charged, that's why these things happen. That's why people report seeing ghosts and paranormal activity and all these things. But you can definitely harness it for good, for your business, for your spiritual development, of course, your intuition, if that's what you're working in. But for your business, it can really help you to narrow in and focus on what it is that you should be doing. So during this time too, another thing that I always notice every single year is massive signs, massive synchronicities. And that's what I shared about today in my post. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you. You're so welcome. And happy birthday to you too. So this is when I've noticed that, not just the numbers, but certain themes. So for instance, certain messages, you might hear the same repetitive message. You might hear the same repetitive need from your clients, from your audience. And that's all clues, right? Because remember, the spiritual realm is working behind the scenes and is working with other people's spiritual team to get them the help that they need, to get them connected to the right people. So you showing up during this time, it's able to bring that connection forward. You're able to connect more easily to make the whole process more seamless. Okay, so that's the big transmission that I got today. Now, how does that relate to marketing? So as you know, I have massive experience in marketing. Textbook marketing, right? Schooling. I have my BA in industrial organizational psychology. I also have a minor in human resources. I worked for a lot of companies, right? Fortune 500 companies in New York City. So if it's your first time, or, if you've just joined, for instance, MTV3 was one of them, Siemens, a lot of engineering companies. And so I have that breadth of knowledge. I've always been interested in marketing, branding, sales, all the things, leadership. And then once I left to become a mom and I started my own business, my own home-based business doing event rentals, to be at home with my babies, I received a whole other completely different education, a different experience when it comes to marketing, and a lot of revelations, my own learnings, my own, you could say my own wisdom drops, or, intuitive hits when it comes to marketing. So that's what I want to share with you today. And then coming online on the online space, that experience just, as you market more is revealed to you, because marketing is a relationship with your soul clients. That's how I want you to think about what marketing is. Okay. So it's not like something that you do. It's a relationship that you enter. Okay. It's a relationship and it's a connection. So in my experience, because I love neurolinguistics and because I am a witch, the first thing that I noticed when I came online was how marketing, my team showed me that marketing is actually leaving a mark. So I want you to think about, it's not like branding. Branding is when you brand yourself, right? And you mark yourself. And then people, when they see you and when they interact with you, they receive impressions. Marketing, on the other hand, is you impressing on somebody else. Hi, Jen. Hi, honey. So it's you purposely leaving a mark and impression on your people, right? Whoever it is that you love to be with. And that's who your ideal client should be. A lot of people talk about ideal client avatars and all those things. None of those things have really ever worked for me. What has worked for me, though, is vibing and getting to know a lot of different communities, a lot of different people. And then in that experience of just naturally getting to know people, knowing what kind of personalities I like to work with, what kind of women and what kind of businesses, people that are turned on what they do. And then that's how I mark and market what I put out there. So for me, that was the biggest game changer. That was like the biggest, aha, mind blown moment for me. Now I've obviously studied all the things like Ogilvy, Seth Godin, all these gurus that have to do with marketing. I tapped into all their stuff, I've read all their books, all the typical things, the non-magical folk, the non-business guru people do. that's what I did. So I have that too. But here I'm talking about strictly from a magical standpoint and from a neuro-linguistic and energetic standpoint. So the other thing that I want you to think about when it comes to marketing, right, is the mark. So how you're marking and sharing the things and how that's going to impact people and leave a mark on them. The other thing is you are going out to different markets. So you want to hone in and think about, who am I going to specifically market to? Is it manifestation people? Is it energetic people? Is it astrology people? Is it crystal people? And being really, really, really clear on that. Really, really clear. And this is something that I still struggle with. And you could have like 2 or 3, but the more fine-tuned it is, the easier and better and more potent your marketing is. Whatever you drop is like whoosh, it leaves an impact. That's what I've noticed. It's like a crater almost energetically with your people. So the magic of marketing, the other thing is not looking at it like it's just you creating. So I do have a design background because I did parties, and my dad was a artist, a street artist. He had cars. He would take like old cars that he would find in the junkyards, and he would turn them into artistic pieces. He covered one in pennies. He covered another one in marbles. So, and then my sister, she's also a baker. So there's that whole artistic thing going on. And with marketing, you definitely have to tap into your artistry and your art, because art is your divine way of channeling and communicating with your people. Okay. And being an artist and being a businesswoman is not necessarily disconnected. That you kind of need both, because when you turn what you do into art, it feels like how can I even put it? It feels like something signature to you. It feels something that is bespoke, almost like Vera Wang or like a designer, right? It's only made by you. So when you approach marketing in that way, it changes the game. It changes the game. The other thing is, like I mentioned before, not only relying on yourself to do all the things. So as spiritual women, calling in spirit and allowing spirit to use you as a channel, to use you as their or her muse. So for me, the way that this happens is, when you mentioned crystal people, that resonated with me. Yes, I am definitely one of those crystal people too. So for instance, I'll get certain themes, right? I'll have certain conversations because I'm a homeschooling mama. It might be a homeschool mom that mentions something. It might be something that somebody online mentions, right? A conversation I'll have like in one of the forums, right? In one of the groups. And then I'll keep seeing the same theme, or something will come up within me, something that I'm working through, maybe some kind of shadow work or some kind of resistance or something. And it all gels together. And when it happens to me, when I get introduced and I feel it, I feel the friction, or I feel like something is personal, then I know that that's my transmission, that I should create a masterclass, that I should create a program. And then it's never always the same. And that's why you have to always remain open. Like, you can't feel like, oh, it has to be step A, B, C, and D. But sometimes I'll love it, right? Yes, it's very different. It's very right-brained. It's very different from how we're trained in academia, in business, to do marketing, right? And it's much more artistic and spirit-led. But there is a flow. And sometimes the flow changes, the order of things changes. So for instance, I'll get that right going on, and then I'll get an image, right? I'll get an image. So usually what I'll do is I'll go on Pinterest, or I'll get a specific image. So I'll search for it in one of the free sites that has, images. And then once I get the image, I'll get more energetic information on how I should package it, right? Or what I should dispense, what the medicine is. And it's freaky. It's really, really freaky. The few times that it's happened, I'm like, oh my God, because it's like not knowing what you're going to do and just allowing God, spirit, the universe to come in and give it to you, and it's part you and it's part the energy doing the work and doing the thing. So it's very co-creative, right? And then once that happens, then I'll usually get a name, or sometimes I'll get the name first and then I'll get the images or the symbology. And then I allow myself to just step into it easily in a very feminine way, right? Isn't it cool? Isn't it cool? So here I want you to think about, as feminine women, we're stepping into a pool. So instead of marketing being like this whole, like big, gregarious, convoluted thing, right? Like charts and, this email is going to go here or this post is going to go here, right? And you feel like you have to have it all put together. And it's like this monstrous thing, right? Because that's how we used to do marketing in business. In this approach, it's completely different. And you step into a pool. It's like dipping your pool. The scene or the image that's coming in is, that movie, Crazy Rich Asians? And when the girl is getting married and she dips her toe in. And if you haven't seen that movie, go and watch it, because then it'll make so much sense. And if I find a clip, I'll drop it down below. But that's the image. You're stepping into marketing. You're stepping in to share one thing. One thing. Not the whole thing. Not the banner and the post and the video and the and on and on and on it goes. No. Instead, it's one thing. So for instance, it could be one small post. Maybe the transmission, the thing that comes to you is one small post, like those caption posts that you've seen me share. Yes, I feel good stepping into marketing. Good. So you step in, and then it might be just at one point, that one post, and then you sit with it, right? You don't start feeling agitated or anxious, like, what am I going to share next? Oh, what are going to be the bullet points? How many days, and then your mind starts trailing off, right? Your mind, and you get out of soul and you start going into the mind, and the mind wants to know it all. But that's spiritual women and spirit. Soul wants you to take a bite, share a piece, right? A piece. And that piece is holy, and that piece is nourishing, and that piece has medicine in it. Even if it's just sharing a small part of the offer, right? All of it is sacred. All of it is anointed. All of it is holy, okay? And then once you do that, you might get that post, or you might get a long form post. And then the other freaky thing is, I used to struggle so much with long form posts, and I'm still easing into this way of doing this, because this has been recent that I've been getting into this flow. So before I would say, oh my God, what am I going to share? What story am I going to share? What story from my arsenal, right? From my pain arsenal am I going to share, right? And that's how a lot of people share. They're like, oh, which painful story am I going to bring out? And I always hated doing that, because I'm like, I don't feel aligned to that, right? But in this approach, you're coming in humbly and saying, this is what I feel called to share. This is what I feel like in my heart I'm meant to talk about. What are the words? What am I supposed to say? And then in that way, again, you're being the muse, and spirit meets you there, and spirit gives you the words, gives you the language, and your language too, right? Your own voice. And then you start channeling and you start writing, and it starts flowing, and then it all comes out. Imperfect, perfect, however it is, raw. And that's when it lands. That's when it arrives. and that's when it marks people. I'm feeling so inspired watching you. Oh, you're so sweet. So after that, right? After that, then you share it. You share the thing. So if you get one small post, people will react to it, right? You'll see people liking it, and those are the people that are supposed to be touched by it. And you celebrate that, and you dwell on it, and you bask in that energy, and you send those people love. Then if you do the other post, you see who shows up. You see who it lands for. And even if nobody shows up, you know that it's landing on someone. You know that somebody is reading it, because people are always reading. Always reading. In my homeschool group, for instance, there's very little interaction, but people see the post. They do. As well as in here in the business group. People are watching. So you want to know and feel that it's going to be there. But you want to put your heart and soul in it. You want your people to feel you. And when you do this process of opening yourself up to spirit and asking Spirit to give you the rest to really support you, it's so powerful. It's so powerful because you show up from a supernatural place. It's not just you, because we're not meant to do this only by ourselves, only by our own accord. Okay? And it also helps with the whole ease of it. It helps with it feeling good, feeling pleasurable, feeling fun, because it's not just you. You have a whole team behind the scenes in the angelic realms, in spirit, rooting you on and giving you these things, but you have to open yourself up to it. So for the next 3 months, what does that mean for us? So that means really focusing on surrendering to the process and not feeling like you have to check into what the trends are, how people are sharing it, who's a better expert in XYZ industry, who's sharing what, so you can have a differentiating factor, right? A competitive edge. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to show up and ask Spirit, hey, what am I supposed to be sharing? And then it'll happen. So you'll do the post, and then after that, you'll do the banner. Then you'll find music. Then you'll know what you're going to talk about on day 1, 2, and 3. You'll know what the takeaways are, and it'll all just flow seamlessly. And it's no longer like this big, huge ordeal. And launching in this way, when you approach marketing in this way, launching is fast. Launching is fast. Launching doesn't have to be, I see some women talking about launching being like months, like they work on courses for months and then they launch. No. Launching is fast. We are meant to launch fast. We're in the new earth. We're moving fast, but moving fast with pleasure and ease, facility, with being just enamored with all of this, right? Enamored with what we came here to do, the wisdom and the transmission that we have within us, and then what we're receiving from the beyond. That's sacred, that only we're meant to dispense out, right? And that we're being entrusted to give out. So when we see marketing in this way, right? Now the holidays feel like, wow, this is a time that I need to show up. This is a time that, yes, I'm going to be in pleasure with my family. I'm going to be in pleasure decorating. I'm going to be in pleasure, buying new members of the family, right? Getting pets, training the pets, homeschooling, and I can carry it all. I can do all of it because it's not just me. And I'm going to be given things quickly. So once you make that mindset shift, and once your reality is no longer like things are difficult, your reality is no longer that things take a long time, things happen fast because you're connected. You're connected, and it's what you're meant to say when you're meant to say it. It's what you're meant to give when you're meant to give it. And the time is always right. So the time is always right during the holidays. It's not a time to just check out, to take a break. You're always living a break because you're living your calling, right? And when you're living your calling, it's supposed to feel as easy as breathing. It's supposed to feel like you could just wake up and just do the thing, right? Because we're supported. We're being given every single tool that we need, both in word and in image and in tech and all of it. So for the next 3 months, I want you to think about that. And then specifically think about what income goal you want to have. Okay. And think about how you want to feel when December comes around, at the end of Christmas, Yule, winter solstice. How do you want to feel? What do you want to have? How does your space look? Where are you? Where are you? Who are you surrounded by? What kind of program are you in, and are you in love with and relishing in? Because when we do programs, it's not just for our people, it's also for us. We get to go deeper and become better teachers. We get to also receive revelations and transmissions and like further clarity, because it never ends. It never ends for our people, and it never ends for us. So that's the magic of marketing in this way, and bringing things to market in a sacred way. So not like in a state of how can I put it? Stress, not in a state of desperation, knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do and it's already here. Like your people are already here. The money is already here. It's just putting it out there. And for a really long time, it was hard for me to go into groups or even to share things, right? To share what I was doing, right? In different spaces. And I always felt like hesitant. But when you connect in this way, you want to share it. You want to share it in every single place that you can, but in a very loving way, not in a pushy way, but in a very loving way, in an excited way, in a celebratory way. And people can feel that. People can feel that. They can feel that. It's like you're sharing. It's like a child sharing their artwork with their parent, right? They're sharing it with that innocence, with that joy. And people want to jump on board with that. People want to have access and connection to that. So think about how your programs, how you can tweak it, how you can step more into that. If you have offers right now, I want to see what they are. Drop them down below. Tell me if you feel inspired during this time. What's been going on with your ancestors or any beyond messages that you might be getting. I love hearing these things. So I will see you soon. Tomorrow, hopefully, yeah, I'll come back on at the same time, depending on how the puppy is. The puppy, we gave her a bath today, and she was like in love with the water. But the whole bathroom right now is a mess. Like it's a complete and total, like it's like a lagoon in there. So once I get off, I'm gonna go in there and clean that up. But yeah, so right now it's kind of tricky. I'm trying to get her on a schedule. I'm trying to also get myself back into a schedule because of her, because she's in the office right now. So right now I'm in my bedroom. So I might set something up here until she gets into a better schedule, or maybe I'll go live in the morning. So that's what's been going on with me. And I also have a 2-day masterclass, which is Signs Are Light, and it's all about how to read the signs. Signs. And this is something that took me a really long time to figure out, because a lot of time I felt like signs would come in one far away from the other, or in a disconnected and just disjointed way, but they're actually connected. So I want to teach you and talk to you about what I've discovered with this, how to read the signs, because right now is when the signs come in the most. And I feel like a lot of people don't really see them because they're not connected, or they're not seeing them the way that you should, by really stepping back and doing the approach that I do to really read the signs and really get the transmissions behind them. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Send me a PM or drop me a comment below, and I'll send you the link for it. It's $33 USD, and it's October 16th and 17th over the weekend. And if you can't catch the live, you can get the replay. So I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.